Minimalism is everywhere today, in fashion, architecture, technology, and even in social media branding. We see a clear preference for simplicity, white space, and clean lines. The trend favors neutral colors, open space, and the idea that less is more. It's efficient, easy to digest, and it fits neatly into a world obsessed with speed, clarity, and minimal distraction. But it wasn't always like this. There was a time when detail, ornament, and complexity were celebrated, even expected, and in losing those layers, we may also be losing a deeper connection to our history, our creativity, and the richness of human expression. To understand where we are now, we need to look back. For centuries, cultures around the world placed value on detail and intricacy. Gothic cathedrals were not just buildings, they were enormous sculptures made of stone, where every spire, every column, every stained glass window told a story. The craftsmen who worked on them knew that much of their work might never even be seen up close, and yet they labored over every element, not for efficiency, but for meaning and beauty. In Baroque and Rococo periods, interiors were overflowing with ornamentation. Gold leaf, curving lines, painted ceilings, and intricate woodwork created spaces that were meant to impress, overwhelm, and inspire. It wasn't limited to Europe. In Japan, the Edo period brought about an explosion of decorative art, from intricate kimono patterns to detailed woodblock prints. In the Islamic world, architecture was filled with calligraphy, tile work, and geometric patterns that reflected both spiritual ideals and mathematical precision. Even everyday objects were treated with a level of care and attention that give them personality and presence. So what changed? Why did we go from this world of layers and fine detail to one that embraces emptiness, simplicity, and a kind of aesthetic silence? The answer lies partly in the earliest 20th century. As societies industrialized, the values of speed, efficiency, and mass production began to shape not just the economies, but tastes. The Bauhaus movement, which emerged in Germany in the 1920s, rejected ornamentation in favor of function. A chair, a building, or a typeface was supposed to be as straightforward as possible. The belief was that beauty lay in function itself. This philosophy gained traction, especially after World War II, as nations rebuilt quickly and economically. Stripped-down design was practical, affordable, and modern. In the decades that followed, especially in the West, this approach grew into a dominant style. Mid-century modern design embraced clean shapes and open spaces. Minimalist art focused on basic forms, often repeating them with mathematical precision. And over time, this striped-down aesthetic became a cultural signal of sophistication. If something looked simple, it looked smart. Today, minimalism has become both a lifestyle and a branding strategy. Tech companies use sleek interfaces with limited color palettes and minimal text. Social media influencers post images of white walls, black clothes, and tidy desks, with one or two aesthetically pleasing objects. Minimalism signals control, taste, and a rejection of clutter, both physical and mental. It fits perfectly into a digital world that values speed with scannability. It's easy on the eyes and easy to replicate. But this widespread embrace of minimalism has come with a cost. In our drive to simplify, we may be flattening our environments and stripping them of culture and depth. Detail doesn't just fill space, it carries meaning. It tells stories. When you look at a hand-carved banister or a tapestry woven with dozens of symbolic motifs, you're seeing time, culture, and human intention embedded into an object. You're seeing care. Today, much of what we interact with feels disposable. Our digital interfaces update overnight, and trends come and go within days. Visual design follows the same patterns. Minimalism makes things feel clean, but it can also feel impersonal. It's hard to feel attached to something when it looks exactly like everything else. This isn't a call to return to Rococo ceilings or Gothic cathedrals. The modern world has its own constraints and needs. But it is worth asking whether the pendulum has swung too far. Are we losing something important by embracing minimalism so completely? In the past, detail invited us to look longer and think deeper. It connected us to tradition, to individual craftsmanship, and to meaning that wasn't always obvious on the surface. What if instead of choosing between minimalism and maximalism, We thought more carefully about what each can offer. Simplicity can be powerful when it's used intentionally, just as complexity can be beautiful when it has a purpose. Not every object needs to be packed with symbolism, and not every room needs to be stripped bare. But we shouldn't forget that the details we leave out can be just as important as the ones we include. Minimalism has its place. It can clear our minds, focus our attention, and bring visual peace in a noisy world. But it should be a choice, not a default. Because when we only value what's fast, efficient, and minimal, we risk erasing the very things that make us human: our curiosity, our attention to beauty, and our desire to create not just something useful, but something that lasts. In remembering the past, we're reminded that simplicity is not the only form of elegance, and that sometimes the finest things are found in the details. Like, comment, and subscribe for daily history and culture content.